This cake belongs to the family of what we call foam cakes because there's very little fat in it, and we beat a lot of air into eggs and egg whites. And I'm going to show you how to make it. So you want to start out with 5 eggs. And here I already have cracked 4, and I want 1 more. So we put the egg whites in a separate bowl, and you want to beat a lot of air into this, and you'll know that you have beaten them sufficiently when the egg yolks start to change color, because they're going to go from yellow to pale yellow. So with this, we want some sugar. So about 1/3 of a cup. And I like to use superfine sugar. And you can find superfine sugar in your grocery store. And superfine means that it's granulated sugar that's just been ground a lot finer, so it will mix easier into whatever it is that you are baking. So my mom made a lot of this type of cake. So when I make this, of course, I'm just making this cake in honor of her because she's taught me so much about Italian cooking. All right, now we're going to stop, and we're going to add some flavoring to this. Now, I like to use orange zest, and if you don't have one of these, you've got to get one because this really makes zesting very easy. And you need an orange, of course, or if you want to use a lemon, you can do that. And I just want to zest in this orange. This is something called Fior di Sicilia, and you can find this type of a flavoring. It's an orange tasting little extract, but I'm going to put in, about a tablespoon, because I like that flavor. If you don't have this, you could just use vanilla, or you could use a couple tablespoons of orange juice. All right, so besides the yolks, we want to work with dry ingredients. And here we are using cake flour. So we want 2/3 of a cup of cake flour. You can find cake flour in the grocery store. And we want 1/3 of a cup of sugar rather. So I'm going to put, actually I'm not going to put all this in, I'm going to put half of it in. So you've got 1/3 of a cup left, so put half of it in. And then about 1 teaspoon of baking soda and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And you just want to sift that. You want to sift it to get out all of the lumps, because this part is going to have to be folded in to the wet ingredients. So we're now going to set that aside, and we're going to whip the egg whites. And here we have about 1/3 of a cup of sugar. So we're going to add the sugar. As anyone who has worked with egg whites knows, there is a point of no return in over whipping them, and we don't want to do that. We want them to be nice and thick, but not dry. So take some of it off onto your spatula. You see? When they hang off the spatula like that, you know that they're ready to go. Here is our egg yolk mixture. Here are our egg whites. And here, this is a trick, of course, I learned from Mom. You never want to take all of those all at once. You want to plunk right down into the egg yolk batter with a rubber spatula. Once you're happy with them, and you don't have to have every speck of white does not have to disappear. You just want to make sure that you got most of it really well incorporated. And that's good enough, because now we have to add the flour. Right there, right over the top of this mixture. Why am I doing this? Again, because I want to keep that airy texture of this. This is just so fluffy. It just sings to me of something that's going to be absolutely delicious. So we've lined the pan with our parchment paper. You do not grease it. So we can take our wonderful mixture now. I want to make sure that's all fluffy, and it goes right on the pan. Just let it fall where it may, because you'll spread it out. All right, that looks beautiful. Nice and fluffy. All right, our oven is at 400 degrees. Remember, I told you this is only going to take 12 minutes. When it's just springy to the touch, it's done. So I'm going to put the timer on. Pretty soon, 12 minutes later, we're going to have cake. This is a technique that you have to use when you're making a jelly roll, because a jelly roll is rolled. So you want to start on a clean towel, preferably a cotton towel. You don't want one of those towels that has a lot of fuzz on it, because you don't want that to get onto your cake. So clean towel, cotton towel, and then you want to take and sprinkle a nice bed of confectioner's sugar down on the towel. And put it right there. Sugar right over the top. Okay, now use that towel to help you roll it right in the towel, because this has to cool in the towel before we can fill it. I've made some whipped cream with sugar. So we've got 2 cups of whipped cream in here and 2 tablespoons of sugar. You just whip it until it's nice and stiff. And then I like to use strawberries for this. So we're going to put about 2 cups of strawberries. Make sure they are the best strawberries you can find. Right in there. And fold them in. Beautiful. Oh, this cake is going to be so good. You've got that orange zest flavor, the flower of Sicilia, and now this. But we're not done, because we need almonds, of course. So here we have about a half a cup of sliced almonds that I toasted. So now we're going to fold that in. Do that gently now, because you want all of this to just... You could eat this just like this. Who needs cake? There are other things you could put in here. You could do lemon curd if you wanted to. What if you made a vanilla pudding or a chocolate pudding? You roll it just like that. Beautiful. Let's see, how's this side look? Cover that right there. Okay, looks like a festive Yule log almost, doesn't it? I'm so proud of myself. All right, then, I add a few strawberries. You don't have to, but I just think that makes it look pretty. Leave the stem on. 3 will do. And how about some mint just at the edges? Once your cake is ready like that, in the fridge, at least for an hour. And then, when your friends come over, get ready for the oohs and ahs.